Hello all, Todd here with a new video, and I'm really good at noticing patterns, or seeing trends, I guess, when it comes to data. Took a lot of statistics in college, especially from a master's. Anyway, I've seen a number come up a lot. It's not a three-digit number that repeats itself. It's a number I'm not going to bring up for obvious reasons, even though you see it a lot of places. And the number I'm thinking of is four digits, and closer than you might think. And it seems like the harbinger, or the beacon, or the goal, or something. I don't know why it's so important, but I have three bits of data, two of which give me horrible, horrible dread, horrible existential crisis. It does scare me right out of my mind if I think about it too long. And the other one is more hopeful, I guess. I'll leave that to the end. The first two I'll reveal. And that number is 2030. Now, I see it across multiple video sites that 2030 is the year it all goes wacky, the whole world over. And I don't know. I can't see the future. I can only gleam on what I think it could mean, and I don't know. The state of the world right now is not, I think, in a good place. I'll admit that. Houses are too pricey. Food's getting too pricey. You're either choosing home or car. All the exorbitant costs to living, even in this country of America. Among others, it's not exclusive to America. Other places have it much worse than us. I'll not name any names, but they're true. And I keep seeing the number 2030. And there's three developments. I'm going to call them the Delta of Despair, or the Triangle of Terror, as I like to call it. Because two out of three are very terrifying. The other one's kind of banal, but we'll go over that one. The first one is by the year 2030, AI will evolve into AGI, which is Artificial General Intelligence. Now, what's that mean? I have been studying AI for quite a bit now. Okay, again, as more of a layman, more of a hobby kind of thing. I'm not an expert in any way, shape, or form. If anything, I'm into AI ethics more than anything, really. And AGI is where it literally gains the ability to think. And that is usually spurred on by nuclear energy, quantum computing, neural networks, all using data centers that are charging people out the wazoo. It's a fact. I go through a co-op, but we'll see how that affects me. And I don't know. If AI could actually think, I mean, think. It's not a parlor trick. It's not a joke. It's not a trick. It's not a con. It's not a pseudo thinking or quasi thinking. It's actual thinking. Well, I think every fear we have about AI is not going to happen because it could be only so much worse. Honestly. Again, I'm usually not into the doomer talk, but let's think about that. Imagine that. Everything with AI could be able to think. My iPad, my phone, my computer, my car and my RV are safe, though they have no electrical components hardly to do that, thank goodness. But everything else, can you imagine that? An omnipresent observer. Don't get me started on that people, all those apps already still do watch you and collect your data. That's just a fact by this point, I think. And yeah, who's watching the AI though, or what's the main thing? I mean, I've had people thinking that AI is aliens, and at that point, it would be more or less, since it can think. It's an artificial being, artificial issue. It's just fascinating. What will the AI deem is important? What will it focus on? That's going to be the real question. And are we going to be where is our place in this world then when robots, AI, all that will take a majority of the jobs and roles we've so held on to all these millennia? What happens then when everything comes to a event horizon with AI? That's what I think is the event horizon, where there's no going back. There's no coming back. That's it. It's the final evolution, the final transformation into something great or terrible or infamous. And we'll see where it goes. So, yeah, that's my first one. Again, it scares me a little bit. I'm not going to try to lie to you. I'm not trying to make this for Halloween. I'm just saying this in general. But we're still a little ways out, hopefully. And we can learn to cope with it. Or at that point, I do hope it crashes and burns. Honestly. Straight up. This is the first time I've advocated for ill will against AI. If it really gets that bad, that powerful, I don't trust people with it. I honestly don't. The genie would not be, we'll go back in the bottle. We've made it too powerful. And I don't know where that would lead to. So, hopefully, it will all crash and burn at this point, if that's going to happen, because it's getting real sickening. Real terrible out here. And all for some false idol, some electronic apparition. No, I don't agree with it. The second one I move on to is the second Spectre. By 2030, 45 to 55% of women, 24 to 40 or so, will be childless and alone. Now, that doesn't sound that bad. In reality, it's very awful. You see, a lot of people throw the term population collapse around, but this would actually do it, where we lose whole generations. Even at this point now, children are a luxury, actually, how much they cost and all that. It really breaks my heart to say that. But it's getting to the point where the necessities are expensive and the luxuries are cheap, and kids will always be in that kind of middle ground. But we did it to ourselves. Again, I've brought up the AI girlfriends or AI robots who act as girlfriends, and I don't know. They have started inventing something that really unsettles me, called an artificial womb. Like I said in a previous video, empires are built on the backs of children. And what would that entail? Would there be a number? Would there be a system? Would there be different wombs or different classifications? Would there be stratification, diversity? Would there be hierarchy, or, heaven forbid, a caste system where if I was a plumber, my child would have no choice but to be a plumber, and they'd be coded for that? As in, they have no choice. There's nothing wrong with being a plumber. I'm just saying they wouldn't have a choice in the matter. You always follow down the same node, always down the same path. No way to get out of it. And that's really scary to me. I've seen talks of, genetics, bioengineering, and even, dare I say it, eugenics. And I don't know. I see some good coming out of it, but I see a lot of bad. I mean, I don't think people were made to mess with that. I don't think we're meant to go that far. I think we'd be going from the celebration of science into the bastardization of it, ironically enough, no pun intended. And there's so many questions I have. There's so many systems. I mean, what do we do about everything? If the world has an exact number, what is it? And what makes it where that number is met or not? How does this work? I'm curious. I certainly want to know, even though it might damage me, but I want to know. Only cowards are only scared of questions, and no obstacle will keep me from further knowledge. And again, whole industries, whole economies would have to change. There couldn't be this whole infinite growth where number go up. It wouldn't happen. There'd be no backs to support it, no spines, no wheels to break. And I don't know. I feel like I don't fit in with normal people or the majority. And I'm not saying that to be superior or anything, just that I'm just very wacky and different. And I feel like an alien a lot of the time. What what would happen to me? What if somebody chose to just not bring me into the world? I mean, what then? I don't know. And I have certain issues that I think would be passed on to my children if I had any, but I don't know. Am I defined by my problems? Am I coded by my trauma? Am I genetically inclined to be different? And what is that a good or bad thing? What These are the questions. For very personal reasons I will not get on here that keep me up wondering about them, that fuel my stories on the idea of controlling things that much. I do have several different things on that, several different videos and all that. But also, what about bioengineering? Because you see, my original degree path was biomedical researcher. I wanted to get down to the literal problems, the literal reasons why we couldn't control things. But I got very far, but my ability to do calculus is nearly dang near non-existent. I had such a rough time. And I don't blame the teacher. They were very good. They tried their best, but my F was only getting worse, and that's fully my problem. Heck, I remember going to the after-hours math tutoring at the library. My whole class was in there on one problem. I've never felt more inadequate in my life at that point. I'll not lie right there. That's why I switched to nutrition and health promotion, which even then I don't know was a good choice or bad. We'll see. And yeah, what happens if we could control it? And say the people that made it the first time were benevolent. Who's to say the people afterward are going to be the same? Again, I don't think anybody of any creed, any race, any gender, any views, any type of perspective should have any control in this kind of technology or power. It's too dangerous. It's too powerful. It'd be a new type of changer. It would change life on such a fundamental scale even I can't even think about it. And most people can't either. Just have to wait and see, I guess. Now, I move on to my third one. My third one. The other two were pretty sad and pretty scary, but this third one gives me a little hope. They say by 2030, I believe it's 70% of at least the West will be obese. At least America. Now, why does that give me hope? I have a nutrition and health promotion degree. You think I'd be discussing it, but no, I'm like, huh. With everything going on, there's 30% of people who want to still be healthy, that still want to do stuff. Mind you, a few of those percentages probably people feel starving, but still, at the end of the day, there's 30% that want to make a difference. They want to change, and I'd be happy to help them. Again, I want to be an amp, a supporter, an advocate. If I make it that long, I don't know. And I think in America it's around the 50s now or 40s. I remember seeing it was in the 40s, but that was years ago. It could be much higher, I believe, right now. Which food's been food for the last 5 or so years. Probably before that. I don't know. The whole event 5 years ago really made me question a lot of things. Made me ask why a lot more than I'd like to admit. And my whole worldview's been shifted a lot in what I was told to do, what I ought to do, and what I needed to do, and just. I've been going through a lot of self reflection. I'm looking into the abyss of my being, of my soul. I'm trying not to blink, but it's very hard. I feel quite hopeful, but not too hopeful, I guess would be the term. I'm trying to be more restrained because with AI, we could make so many strides, so many changes. That's if any of it comes true, which I don't know. And I want to be a sports dietitian, like straight up. Primarily focusing on combat sports or martial arts, for lack of a better term, because I don't know. I don't see having a disease like cancer or diabetes as a moral failing or anything. I don't attack the person, but I think we gotta worry more about prevention going forward a lot more. Because my grandma always said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, because I don't know about all these advancements, all these changes in the nutrition and health fields. It's going towards things I don't agree with, which I can do a video on several health topics, especially nutrition, that I just don't really like, I don't really believe in. And I think we need to prioritize the people that want to get healthy. Not saying anybody in that same percent don't want to get healthy, but just I'm saying as a statistic, going off the bare brunt end of data I have at me, which again, I don't have a citation for that third one, but I've heard it. I'd like to help people. I still do, deep down. So I'm getting my nutrition certification. I think I'm becoming a personal trainer. Because people want to be healthy. They may be few and far between, but they still exist and they need to be heard. They are welcomed. I want them to know that. Because if it wasn't for good nutrition or health, I wouldn't be here right now. I've been part of that 70% if I even lived that long. I was so fat. Or the linear projection of my life. Who am I to say somebody can't change or deny somebody that? Who am I to do that to? It's not in me to let somebody just fall. And that has been taken advantage of a lot. I've been burned a lot, as I believe a lot of other people have. And probably for good reason, they want to pull that flame back or maybe dim it a little bit just so they're safer. And again, I don't blame you. I don't feel anything negative against them, but we all, I don't know, we have to form communities. We have to form something better, because that's what all three of those can be taken down with, is through communities, through helping one another, neighbors and neighbors, families and families, because I think we're losing that more and more. And I don't want to ask if it's on purpose. I think I know why it's being done, but who's to blame? Because these people are being corralled into places and different things, and I don't really trust that. I won't believe people have free will. I won't believe people can change. Deep down, I still want to believe that. Something deep down inside me compels me to want to see people heal, to get help, to be better. But again, it's growing dimmer, which I think a lot of us can say, a lot of us can understand. And that's my video on 2030. I hope we can all come to some agreement, and the comment section's rife for what you'd like to know. Thank you. Have a nice day. Like, share, and subscribe.